Okay, Raoul, so here's my trusty little 360, and some of the boys said maybe level your table and do all your pitch setup and so on and so forth, but it's really unnecessary. Just grab your pitch gauge and you can check to see if you can reference your flybarless unit or not. Just do a 0 out. 0.1 degrees, 0, that's even 0.1, that's perfect. And you will notice, if I bring it over to the boom, we're good. The boom will be perpendicular to the main shaft. We got 90 here, we got 0, we got 0. We can use our flybarless unit as a reference. We can use the tail boom as a reference. As you can see there, that's sufficient. Once we do that, we'll go to step G on another machine, but then we can throw the pitch gauge on and we have our reference on this plane. Okay, don't worry about the table, don't worry about all this crap being level and so on and so forth. You're working off your machine. As long as your machine is not moving around, as you can see, I got a towel down. It's not moving around. Even if it does move and compress the towel under the fin, you're talking like 0.1, 0.2. I kind of strive for 0.1. Everything flies perfect. Basically hands-free hover as long as your CG is good. So, okay. I've got my Workhorse 550X over to my right. And I'm just going to explain a few things about swash, servo to swash setup and that sort of thing. It's just easier to see on the 550 because the scale is, of course, significantly larger. So it's in standby right now. I've actually got it in step G, as you can see. No lights on, no servos selected. So we're just in mechanical setup mode, center pulse driven. And you can see this arm is off by a touch. It's impossible to get it any closer than that mechanically, that's it. Everything else has to be sub-trimmed out, which we do when we select a servo like that. A quick rudder tap. I'm sure you all know this now. Okay, so now here we are. It may be hard to tell here, but it's bang on. On this machine, and the 360 I should also mention, the 360 with the servo geometry, get that arm 90 degrees to the body and it will be 90 degrees to this link as well. That's just the way it works on that head setup. On your 360, once you do get that, once you do trim those out, I hope you have watched that clip on step G that I sent a link to. All of these now are at their trimmed out position, and this is what I was talking about. This is where you're having issues. This link, of course, as you know, determines swash height. You don't need to mark the main shaft where the swash is. You need to go by these swash driver arms, sorry. See these swash driver arms? See how I can almost intersect like all the centers of those bolts? A lot of these arms are tapered and you can't really tell when they're straight. Just go by the absolute center of all of these Allen heads. Get as close as you possibly can eyeballing. You can even throw a straight edge in there just to double check everything. And trust me, it's tough to do with a phone in one hand and a straight edge in the other. But this is one of the easiest ways to do it. And it's extremely accurate. When you do this, you're going to have no issues with binding on any of your swash driver arms. And that way you can get proper servo link length without being so far in or so far out on the threads. Okay? This way, once you're there, I'm going to get right out of here. So I can go, I run about 13 degrees on this one. You can kind of see even from here that I have equal travel up and down. Okay, so when it comes to leveling, you can go back to the 360 and take a peek. Showed you the reference here to here. As long as these match up, you can use this flybarless unit to zero everything out, nice surface, and then get all of your servos trimmed out, your links made, get your swash leveled. Now, this is when you can do all kinds of different things. You can use a tripod leveler, you can use a zip tie method, or RD Lore has these wicked little clip-on units. I bought a bunch of these from him direct with a few other goodies. His stuff is pretty cool, pretty straightforward, but pretty cool. And these just clip on to the main shaft wherever you can put it. And once it's clipped on there very tight, the idea is you just rotate the main and you situate this little bolt wherever you need it to, and it just tickles these little pads on the swash. Try not to measure here because these links get deformed. Measure the pads on the swash. Rotate the main, go to the next one. This thing will follow perpendicular. As long as it's on there good and snug, it'll be correct. Links on the 360, I just measured mine right around 50.5 mil. Should get you in the ballpark. From there, so we got 50.5. Use my meat hooks here. Once you're there, try 50.5. See where your your swash driver arms are sitting. Make sure they're nice and flat, like I showed you on the 550. Make sure they're nice and straight. Okay, I'll go back into G. My mechanical with my servo selected, so there we go. It's really hard to see. There we go. And once you're at this step, try 50.5, see where you are, see if these are all going to line up for you. If so, then adjust everything and get your swash good and level. Once everything is level, you're happy with your center position on your swash driver arms, then you go up and do the head, and that's when you can play around with all the pitches and so forth from there and get your pitch gauge out. I'll try posting this as is, just kind of my first stab at it, no editing, and hopefully that answers a few questions. But you know, drop me a line on HeliFreak there on your post if you have any more questions. Cheers, man.